Thought that we came to the stadium with the right mindset, but we just did not execute well enough, in all three phases to finish the game. And that's where we need to focus, is on our execution. We had plenty of opportunities today and just didn't capitalize on enough of them to finish the game. There's these plays that, that really hijack our rhythm, in the passing game. And that's where we got to put our focus. That's where it's been. And until we get that solved consistently, you're going to continue to see results like today. And that's where it's at. So you can stop asking that question, okay? I'm going to be calling the defenses, okay? So we're clear. So you don't have to ask that again.
I want you to win. Like, what the do I got to do for you to win? I just want you to win. I know you. I just want you to win.
1 week later.
It takes a special type of person to be a fan of the LA Chargers. You need to possess a certain level of optimism that borderlines on delirium to believe you can actually win the game each week, regardless of the matchup, while at the same time having both the mental and emotional fortitude to cope with the inevitable loss that will manifest in the most soul-crushing way possible. Depending on the week, most teams get completely outclassed by their opponent and are beaten from the opening kickoff, and others will be down 10, 15, or even 20 points before the contest ends, giving fans time to accept their fate and emotionally check out early and go on with their lives. But for the Chargers, nah, that would be too easy. Week after week, they find a way to keep the game close, give their fans an inkling of hope that they can win, and then lose roughly every game with either a walk-off field goal or a failed last-minute drive that ends in humiliating fashion. And these past 2 weeks have been a poetic example of just that. Week 10 versus Detroit, we lose 41-38, with the Lions kicking a field goal to win the game as time expired. And then the very next game versus Green Bay, we lose 23-20, after getting the ball back with a minute and a half left, and all we have to do is get in the field goal range to tie it up and go into overtime. Shouldn't be too hard with the quarterback wide receiver duo as talented as Justin Herbert and Keenan Allen, right?
Right.
Wrong.
But let's go over how these games played out, starting with Week 10's matchup versus Detroit. Detroit decided before the game started that they were going to out-physical us and kick our from the opening whistle. And I have to say, they did just that, as they rushed for 177 yards in the first half, averaging 9.3 yards a carry. And when you watch how their offensive line played against us, it was a picturesque example of bully ball. We're bigger than you, we're stronger than you, and we've already made up our mind that we're going to kick the out of you. I mean, look at how they get off the ball here. And then to make a bad matter worse, when I mentioned the disrespect earlier, they chose to run the ball on 4th and 5 and on 3rd and 6 on the same drive, and they picked up the first down both times. Now, it wasn't just a tail-whipping fiesta the whole game. We did stand up and fight back, most notably in the second half, when we only gave up 17 points after surrendering 24 in the first half, and we held Detroit to 23 rushing yards as opposed to the 177 they accumulated prior. And on offense, Justin Herbert put on a cape, drew an S on his chest, and proceeded to complete 13 of 19 passes for 144 yards and 3 touchdowns. 2 of those touchdowns which came on 4th down. But this wouldn't be much of a review if I didn't go over some film from the game. So let's take a look as to why we came up short yet again in a game we should have won. So on this play right here, 1st and 10, 3 minutes into the game, the Chargers are lined up in a basic cover 2, and watch how Amon-Ra St. Brown gets open here out of the slot. Detroit does nothing fancy, no play action fake, nothing like that. Just watch how Amon-Ra gets past everybody and is wide open when we have 2 deep safeties. So ball gets snapped, Amon-Ra runs, gets past the linebackers, is into the safety territory, off screen, gets deep, and somehow, some way, we have James and Alohi Gilman chasing him, and this play goes for 46 yards. And these are examples of plays that can get you beat. Just blown coverage, mental mistakes. As we see later on in this game, plays like this come back to bite you. And right here on 3rd and 2, 5 minutes left in the third quarter, score is tied 24-24. And this is an opportunity where you want to make sure to get Detroit off the field, get your offense on the field to get points to go up in a moment like this. We see St. Brown lined up wide, and he is going to just attack the zone that we're in. Takes off, gets deep past the linebackers, and surprise, surprise, look who's chasing again. Gilman and James. And this is not an indictment on either one of them to say they're bad players. They're both very good at what they do, especially Derwin James. But at this point, it feels like Detroit is targeting them. St. Brown finds a soft spot in the zone, goes for a long gain, and now Detroit is on the field, bleeding more clock, getting closer to the end zone. So here we are, 1st and 10. Ball on Detroit's own 25-yard line, 3.5 minutes left in the game. Chargers had just scored to tie the game up, so we're 38-38. And for the Chargers defense, if you can just keep them out of field goal range or keep them out the end zone, you guarantee overtime. But even better, if you can get them to punt, you give the ball back to our offense and give us a chance to march down the field to either kick a field goal and win or get in the end zone and win. Either way, we get the ball back to our offense, we give ourselves a chance to score. Do we get that?
Hell no! No!
Right here, we can see that Jared Goff does a basic play fake to the running back. Eric Kendricks, the linebacker, gets caught looking inside. And right here, we see Khalif Raymond takes it. Does he get just a first down? Nope. He's going. He's passing midfield. Finally gets tackled for a 41-yard gain. And that was essentially the nail in the coffin. Just mistakes. Getting caught looking aside on the play fake, not noticing the receiver running right across your face. By then it's too late, and at this point, Detroit has essentially won the game. And these type of mistakes, especially the last one when the game was on the line, are reasons as to why we couldn't close the deal versus Detroit. And to me, that comes down to coaching. But it doesn't just stop there, because the very next week against Green Bay, we had another chance to get in position to win the game and failed to do so yet again. This was a matchup where mistakes and self-inflicted damage cost us a game that we had no business losing. No disrespect to Green Bay, but when you look at these two teams roster for roster, we should have beaten them by no less than 12 points. A foot injury early in the first quarter to Joey Bosa doesn't help any, but 7 total drops, 2 of which were guaranteed touchdowns by Keenan Allen and Quentin Johnston, and a crucial 4th down drop by LeBron Parham are examples as to why we couldn't run away with this game. Defensively, we played well for the most part, but questionable alignments and giving up a handful of chunk plays can be the difference between winning and losing. Then late in the game, with a minute and a half left to win it, we have a drive that consists of multiple incompletions and a batted down pass on 4th down. So let's take a look at some of these errors that cost us this game. So on this play right here, it's 3rd and 8, 2 seconds left to close out the first quarter, and the issue here is space. Kenneth Murray gives the running back A.J. Dillon way too much space to operate with, and I know he has to see both the running back and the tight end, but on 3rd down like that, you got to make a decision and close the gap a little bit faster. As we see, A.J. picks up more than enough yards to get the first down, but as we saw later in this game, space is something the Chargers have a difficult time understanding the concept of. And then right here, 2nd and 9, ball on the 11-yard line in the red zone. We have another issue with our zone coverage. Christian Watson gets passed off to the safeties, and Asante Samuel just is 2 steps too late. And in this league, 2 steps can be the difference between a touchdown or making a play. In this example, touchdown was made, gotta close the gap faster. And when I look into these repeated mistakes week after week, I see them as a coaching issue. And while I'm not one to call for another person's job, exceptions can be made. And in the case of Brandon Staley, it's time for him to go. The reason he got the job in the first place was because he was an assumed defensive guru with the LA Rams the year they won the Super Bowl. But since he's been with the Chargers, over the past 3 seasons, we haven't had an elite or even above average defense with him calling shots on that side of the ball. Then this week on First Take, Shannon Sharpe said something that was a sad but truthful reality about our defense this season.
And everybody that plays that defense has career days.
That's right.
That's the best day of Jordan Love's life.
I know.
And he's 100% spot on. Of every single opponent we've played this year, at least one of them goes for a season high against our defense. And of the 15 players who have done so, 13 of them have been in the passing game, which shows you we have a glaring weakness that needs to be addressed with the removal of Brandon Staley. So this week we match up with an AFC juggernaut in the Baltimore Ravens. And while they don't have Mark Andrews, I don't expect that to slow them down from putting the beat down that I expect them to put on us. Zay Flowers will probably go for 150 yards and 2 touchdowns. Odell might turn back the clock and go for 130 in a tub. And I wouldn't even be shocked if Lamar Jackson decided to run for 150 yards himself. Somehow, some way, one of those Ravens is going to have a season high against our defense. It is inevitable. Now, normally when I end these videos, I have some type of hopeful message of optimism, saying that we can go out there and win no matter who we go up against. But that's been beaten out of us this year. We're not going to win against the Ravens. We're not going to win very many more games moving forward. We're cooked. The season's over. It's been a wash. At this point, we're going out there to collect a check and to play for the love of the game. And for some players to accumulate stats. But this season is officially over. I'm still going to do these reviews, but I don't expect much from us moving forward. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share the video, and until next time, I'll see y'all in the next video.